Hello, guys. Welcome back to Plutons War, and today we will talk about something I have, on my mind for a long time, and that's the fact that, in my opinion, Game Workshop fans or Game Workshop players are basically not real world gamers. I know that this is sort of hot take, this sort of, possible controversy, but it's on my mind for a really long time, and I just, see it again and again. That's, in my opinion, it's really true. The impact to make this video was thread on the internet I read last week, which was basically guy was asking that he don't get why people play Killteam or other Games Workshop games. And I think this is something that some folks need to hear. And that the issue with Game Workshop game is that they are objectively not really good rules wise. To be honest, they are really clunky and sort of shallow. But for whatever reason, they are really popular. And question is why? And after all, it's really quite simple because the OP and the thread and some other guys were, sort of, to say it, intrigued that how game which is not really objectively good and is quite expensive, why it's so popular. And the answer is really easy, and that's the Game Workshop games are there really for a long time. So they have, huge presence and history, which basically overrides other people, to take a look at something else because when they have to choose, there is some game which is not so popular or, starting whatever. And there is Game Workshop game which is, huge in terms of, popularity and history and presence in, outside tabletop media, like, video games and basically right now even TV shows, because, for example, on Amazon Prime, you will have in one of the story animated series, you will have episode about basically space marines. You you get to contact with Warhammer in other ways than just a tabletop. So if you have something to choose, it's working like commercials for toilet paper. Some people are just asking why they are making commercials for toilet paper because basically everybody use toilet paper. That's true, hopefully. But the thing with commercial is not to promote you to use toilet paper. It's to promote the brand, because when you go to the aisle in the supermarket and you have 10 toilet papers to choose, you will probably, if you, don't know what to take, you will go for something like basically price and quality and stuff like that, and you have three toilet papers with same layers and same price, you will go for which one? Well, basically, you will go for that from the commercial. It's that easy, and basically, it's so working with the wargaming also. Because if you will like, I want to start wargaming and what to choose, and basically, you will go for the Games Workshop stuff because it's everywhere. You know it from the outside world, and it has some sort of following, which is understandable. What is not so understandable is that the people will stay with it. Because the thing which is need to address is that the Warhammer players have huge confirmation bias, because after all they spend lots of time and really lots of money. I know what I'm talking about. I have something like 5 Warhammer 40k armies, so you spend a lot of money and time on them, and then you basically want to confirm to yourself and from your buddies that you are making the right choice, because nobody wants to hear that you spent hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars on something which is basically really shitty. Nobody wants to hear that. Even your unconsciousness one doesn't want to hear that because it's not really a good thing to hear. So problem is that you just play Warhammer with, you talk with other Warhammer players, and you just pat yourself and jerk that it's a great game and you have really having a fun. For some folk it's true, for some folk it's not really true, but they are, sort of sticking to it because they don't know something else and they want to, have be like being confirmed that it's good thing to do. And that's the part which I started in the interaction, is that the Warhammer players are basically not wargamers. They are just Warhammer players. Because they don't really, go and try something else than Warhammer, even if they are not really happy with Warhammer. I personally know a couple of guys which are playing Warhammer just because they played it years ago, so they are playing it. But what else they should play? Because it's Warhammer, and everybody knows that Warhammer is the best game on the market because it's there for 30 years, so it must be good, and it has many players, so it must be good. Because if wasn't really good, there should be the following for 30 years, right? And they are just, they are just in this circle, and they are, confirmation stuff in the circles. So they are sort of stuck in the mindset that it's best thing to do, and they, well, basically don't have to try anything new. Because why they should? Because if Warhammer is best game on the market, why should they try some other games which logically must be inferior, right? So then they don't have anything, to compare Warhammer to, because everything they played for the years was just a Warhammer. So it sort of makes sense that they can't, compare it to anything else. And they are in this sort of echo chamber bubble that Warhammer is best, so they don't have, to try anything else. So they never try anything else, so they are, still in their echo chamber. And to be honest, they don't really care about it, which is sort of, okay if it's their choice. Issue with Warhammer player is that they also think that they should also go and tell other people that Warhammer is the best game and not like their inferior games. And the basically only argument they have is that it's popular and it's there for so long. And that's it. Of course, they don't, or they can't make any more arguments, because after all, there is no way how, they can make them. Because, as I said earlier, if you played only Warhammer for 20 years, you can really compare it to anything else, because you have nothing to compare. You have no background which you can use to compare it. Because you only think they can compare, and they are really doing it, is the edition X was better than edition Epsilon. Because again, that's the only thing they know, and they don't really care about anything. They are really happy in their echo chamber. And this is the fact I'm talking about, that they are not really wargamers. Because wargamers tried, you know some war games, even if you play one. But to be honest, I really don't know anybody who just playing one war game other than Warhammer 40k players. You try more games. You have to choose a game you want to play. You need to do some research on the other rule sets or options or models, and you get into the sort of community, into the hobby part, because you need to pick a game, pick models for it, pick rule set, pick theme of the game you want to play. But if you are Games Workshop fan, you just go to the Games Workshop store, and basically you say, I want to play Space Marines, and you get the Space Marines two boxes. You play with your Space Marines, you play the Warhammer, and you don't really need to research anything. You will get the box, and you are just playing the Space Marines, and you can play them for 20 years. And basically you don't really need to look something up, because why should you? So, heading back to the point of the example with the Killteam, which started all. Warhammer 40k players are used to do play Warhammer and play basically anything that Game Workshop serve them in their face. When they serve everything in their face, Killteam, they start playing Killteam because Game Workshop told them that is the new cool thing to do. So they're just obey their master. And issue with Killteam is that it's way cheap. It's not cheap game. It's To be honest, it's sort of overpriced for what you get. But for Warhammer 40k players, it's well quite cheap because it's nowhere to the price of the regular Warhammer 40k. So they are sort of happy with it because I saw that argument many times that they tell you maybe it's not good game, but it's way cheaper game, so it's quite good. You can try it. I'm not really, in my opinion, that's not really a good argument, but whatever. So they are in. So they are. That's the reason. Main reason that somebody is playing Killteam, which is objectively not a good game or cheap game or anything, is just because they were used to play, other Warhammer or Game Workshop stuff. The Game Workshop told him to try it, and they were like, "Why not?" And probably that's the only reason. Okay, the point why they even get to the Killteam is, as I told earlier, that they try to, start with Warhammer, and they sort of, stayed there. Of course, there are some guys who will try something else, which was basically me, and then you try it, and then you basically discover that the rules are not really good, the mechanics are not really good, the you know miniatures are not that good for the price they are paying, and the whole the flow, how the game works, how the releases work, how the meta chasing work is anything but pro customer. It's basically really anti-customer behavior from the game workshop, but people are happy with it because they don't know anything better. I was like that, for something like 15 years. And then of course I tried to enter games, and I basically discovered, Jesus, these rules are really bad. There are tons of other games with better rules, better feeling, basically models looking same good as for the games workshop, but for really fraction of price. And I was like, wow. But you need to step out from your comfort zone and try the other games. And I, for a long time, I wasn't also happy to do that, because I was sort of happy in my Warhammer echo chamber, and why should you try another game when you know that Warhammer is the best because it has most players and it's for so long on the market. So that was my some thought for the mind, which I had on my on my mind for some time, and I just wanted to get it off me. If you don't agree with me, that's okay. You can put your opinions in the comments. I'm quite happy to read them. Sort of looking forward if there be some discussion. Not really sure if it will happen, because when I figure out when you tell Warhammer 40k player that the game is not best on the market, they're sort of quite aggressive about it, because after all, as I said earlier, it's the confirmation bias that you want. Just that you are right because everybody told you right, and in your mind you have this little devil telling you it's the best game here. Otherwise you wouldn't spend so much money and time on it. But I'm probably really again just talking in circles, so I will wrap it up. So that's my opinion on why Kill Team or another Games Workshop game is basically popular. It's just because Games Workshop told their fans that they should love it, and they just go and love it. And reason why it's, well, basically I told it in the video. So this was spot answer for. Hopefully it was sort of entertaining, educational. Maybe it opens eyes for some Warhammer 40k players, even if I adapt it. And if you have anything you want to say me, well, the comment section is open, so you can. Bye, guys, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.